now we've got all this information about how the marketplace looks. How do we take this and apply it to our business moving into 2022? And I've got 6 recommendations that you should be looking at as you plan the next year, but even like the next 5-10 years, right? These are trends that I want you to look at. So first of all, your client niche. Niching is nothing new. You've heard it a million times, so have I, but it's something that almost everybody does really, really poorly. Niching down is one of those things. It's the first thing out of a marketer's mouth, but it's the last thing that anyone ever does. So moving into 2022, we can't afford to do a poor job at claiming and talking to your niche. We can't. The marketplace is getting too crowded, right? And so there's 2 things in particular I want you to pay attention to. One, you need to be talking to a specific audience, and you need to be speaking their language. Research. Research is one of those words where we think big companies do it. Guess what? This is a problem for all mid-tier companies and lower. They think that they can't afford to do this. This is something you can do on a yearly basis. We've talked about it, right? Things like the focus few analysis, real-time market research, all things that we've talked about that are going to help you speak the same language and engage in conversation with your ideal clients and understand who they are better, right? So research and extreme focus is a must. And then number 2, SEO and your marketing messages need to be focused on your target market. It's no longer a nice to have. You need to research and then arm your marketing with the right language and the right messaging to attract the right people. To stand out from the crowd, this is a must do. Okay, number 2, things to focus on in 2022, relationship marketing. And I'm not talking about the spammy MLM approach of marketing, right? Where like you're leveraging your friends and your friends of your friends to get sales. No, that's not what I mean. What I mean is that your marketing should be focused on creating real conversations and building real relationships. The days of connect and spam are over. So instead, we need to build real relationships, have real conversations. I've said this before, I'll say it again, authentic conversations drive sales. That's worth saying again slowly. Authentic conversations drive sales. So investing in relationships is always going to pay dividends. They're going to help you make sales. They'll help you build a fan base. It's going to help you retain clients. Like it makes your whole life better, right? And then with relationship marketing, the way you want to approach this is you want to leverage value, adding value to their life as the catalyst for a sales conversation, right? So we'll talk more about adding value in a second, but the big takeaway here is that you can talk about sales quickly if you add value quickly, right? Drive the sales conversation by first adding value and then using that as your foot in the door to talk about finding a solution for their needs. I had a coach that had an example of this where he would say, if someone was hanging off the side of a cliff and you walk by and you had a rope, you don't have to, build your no like trust factor. You can just say, hey, I've got a rope. You want to buy it? Because they're on the edge of the cliff. They want the rope, and you're going to do more service to them throwing the rope than being like, hey, how you doing? What's up? So like, hey, how you doing down there? What's your hobbies? Right? Like add value first, hey, I've got a strong rope. You want me to throw it down to you? It's $20. Yes, please. I got $20. Let's do it. Or $2,000 or whatever it is, right? Add value first. Use that as a catalyst for the conversation. Okay, number 3, double down on video content. And not just any video content, but video content that resonates with your audience. So the video, it's really important to understand that video consumption remains a strong contender compared to other types of content. But a good mix is still important. Like don't go all in on video content and ignore audio or written or visual. And when I say visual, I mean like memes and photos and things like that, like visual branding, right? Because content is technically visual too. Or I'm sorry, written content. Don't ignore them. Like if you're on LinkedIn and all you do is videos, that's fine, but you're going to be missing out on part of your audience if you don't throw in a mix some of it. So video consumption is up. But if you want your videos to be effective, you have to have both value and values. See that pun there? Okay, so in other words, the values you stand for must come through. That's the values portion. And the value you provide for your clients must also come through. So what you stand for versus what you're giving, right? Those are the two things there. And for content to be valuable to your client, it needs to entertain, inspire, or educate. And this is part of the value equation. And the second half of the value equation is created in taking action. Nothing happens till they take action. So your content should entertain, inspire, or educate while also pointing them towards taking steps or taking action, right? It's not entertainment for entertainment's sake. That would work if you were an entertainment company and your goal is to get them to sit on the couch and watch more. Then entertainment for entertainment's sake is great. Entertainment to move them towards action, that's what you want. Inspiration to move them towards action, that's what you want. Education to move them towards, you get the point, right? That's what you want. Awesome. And then finally with video, you got to understand, we need a mix also of short and long videos. So when I say short videos, think 5 to 60 seconds. Yes, 5 seconds to 60 seconds, short videos. Social sites like TikTok are pushing the bar for micro content. And so attention spans are getting shorter. You have to, so now short videos, guess 5 to 60 seconds. We want to use those as hooks to grab people. We're entertaining for a second. We're inspirational for a second. And that gets their attention. They say, whoa, what's going on here? And then we want long form videos, think 10 minutes to 60 minutes. That's for the education. That's for the engagement. That's for the conversion, right? So let me give you an example. Every time I do a podcast episode, Jason creates a short clip video for me to use as promotion. There's the attention. And then once the attention is gotten, they go to the long form, 20-minute, 30-minute episode and consume the whole thing. So short videos to get attention. And we're talking 5 seconds to 60 seconds. Max for what I would call a short video would be like 2 minutes, right? Like really, really short. And then long form videos are for engagement and conversion and education. Does that make sense? Yeah, we're good? Okay. Number 4 thing that you should focus on as we move into 2022. So retention marketing. Okay, so your business model has to be built for retention. We've been talking about this for a long time, but it's more important now than ever, right? And so you've heard me say this before, but you should aim for 30% retention as a minimum. But the higher you can get that number, the healthier your business gets. And growth becomes easy when retention is high. And if you can think about it this year, if year over year, you're retaining 90% of your clients, right? So you get 100 clients, 90 of them stick around. That first year, you had to get 100 clients. The next year, you got to get 10, right? To be at the same level. And if you get 100 more, then you've doubled your business, right? Like retention really, really makes your business super healthy, super easy. And here's the thing, that as acquisition becomes more and more expensive, retention becomes more and more important. So as labor is more expensive, as attention is more expensive, what did I just say? Attention, yeah, not retention. Attention becomes more expensive. Retention becomes the solution that helps you afford to keep growing. And this point is so important. I put it on its own slide just to kind of drive it home. Retention is as important as, if not more important than sales. It really, really is. We put a lot of emphasis on sales because that's where it all starts. But if you don't retain, it's like being on a hamster wheel, or the example that I've been putting lately is an escalator, right? Every time you make a sale, you take a step up the escalator. Every time you lose a client, that escalator moves down. If your retention rate is 0, so you're losing clients as fast as you make them, you're just stuck in one spot, right? You're not really moving forward. And that's the equivalent of hustle, 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 but never really getting anywhere, right? versus if you take 4 steps up for every 1 step back, now you're really cooking, right? And if you're taking 9 steps up for every 1 step back, well, then you're going to beat that escalator. You're going to be off of it in no time, right? So retention is as important as, if not more important than sales. And the key here is that we want to build it into your business, not just have it be something that's nice. It's like, it's part of your service delivery, right? We start thinking about it as part of your service delivery. Number 5, team building. Okay, team building is the third key to growing a business. The first 2, we just talked about sales and retention. The third is team building. Team is how you remove yourself as the bottleneck. So all of us should be focused on hiring people to do the work for us and truly move into that role of CEO. And 2 major points here that I want to point out. Team building is now more than just money, right? We just talked about that. So you can't buy your way into loyalty, though it helps. You can't buy your way into loyalty, though it helps. And without the money portion, you have to be competitive. Without it, the other stuff doesn't matter. So the money is still important, but it's more than just money. We have to really leverage your vision and help your staff to feel fulfilled, right? It's more important than ever that they feel fulfilled, which we already talked about, so I'm not going to belabor that point. And then also AI, automation tools, and team management software now are ways to lessen the stress of your team. And to, so what I'm getting at here is view these tools as team building, right? This is how you get stuff done more quickly, more easily, right? Is by investing in AI, automation, and team management software. And for those tools to work effectively, you got to work them into your process. So if you try to buy a tool to solve a problem that you haven't solved yet, it's not going to work. You have to use a tool to implement a solution that you've already come up with. Okay, so like if you're trying to buy AI that writes content, if you think you're going to buy this AI and it's going to write all your content for you, you're going to be really frustrated. But if you've got patterns and processes, and this is how I write content, and the AI simply does your strategy, guess what? You just took like a 6-hour content writing process and turned it into like a 30-minute process. Now either you can do that or a team member can do that in 30 minutes, right? So use these tools to implement solutions you've already come up with. It makes your job easier and makes staff more affordable. Okay, and then the last thing is leverage in-person events whenever possible. So this one is, you know, I should have put like a little star because it's almost like optional. I want to say whenever possible, because not everyone here wants to, it's not part of everybody's plan. The reason it's on this list though, is because the people that are attending this event, they're going to be attending this event to fulfill a personal and professional need for connection. And so they are going to be more open and more emotionally invested when they attend these events in the near future. So if you're there, it's going to be a great place. It's going to be, you know, it's like shooting fish in a barrel, right? Where's the barrel? It's live events, right? This is the barrel. So go there if you can. But here is the caveat: watch your audience carefully. The barrel's there, but if there's no fish in it, it doesn't matter, right? So if your audience isn't going to these events, then you don't need to go either. But if your audience is going to events, go, because this is going to be a big deal over the next probably 2 years, right? Like this until it becomes like, oh, we're finally back. I bet you for the next 2 years, every conference are going to be like, oh, I'm so glad we're live, right? They're going to be talking about it. Okay, cool.